The city of Novara gleamed like a jewel in the morning sun. Towering skyscrapers stretched high into the clouds, their glass surfaces reflecting the golden light. Between these giants, thousands of cable cars floated silently, moving people from one building to another. It was a city built in the sky, where people didn't walk on streets anymore. They glided above them, traveling along suspended paths of steel and light. 17-year-old Alex leaned against the railing of his apartment balcony, staring at the distant horizon. He liked mornings in Novara because they felt calm, even though the city was always busy. Below him, the streets were still dark. The early workers and delivery drones barely stirring. He sipped his warm cup of tea and checked his smartwatch, noting the time for the first cable car ride of the day. Alex lived with his mother in a small apartment on the 50th floor of a building called Zenith Tower. It was nothing fancy compared to the towers around it, but it had a view that made every morning feel like a special occasion. He had always liked looking out at the skyways and imagining what it would be like to fly above the city instead of taking the cable cars like everyone else. Today, though, there was something unusual. As Alex watched the skyways, a small movement caught his eye. One of the cable cars seemed to sway more than usual. At first, he thought it was the wind, but the car looked like it was stuck, hovering in one spot. A pulse of unease ran through him. Cable cars rarely stopped mid-air, not unless there was a mechanical issue or something worse. Curiosity got the better of him. He zoomed in with his smartwatch camera, trying to see the passengers, and then he recognized her. Dr. Clara Venn. She was his mother's best friend, a brilliant engineer known throughout Novara for designing energy grids that could power entire neighborhoods with minimal waste. Clara was smart, brave, and always had a smile that could make any problem seem smaller. And right now, she was stuck in that cable car, dangling high above the city, with nothing but open air beneath her. Alex's heart raced. How did she even get stuck up there? He murmured to himself. The cable car swayed again, just enough for him to see Clara's calm expression. She raised one hand and waved. Her other hand rested lightly on the safety handle inside the car. Despite the danger, she was smiling, almost teasingly. Alex's fingers tightened around his smartwatch. Don't just smile, Clara. You're stuck up there. She laughed softly, her voice carried faintly by the morning breeze. I guess I owe you now, she said, her eyes meeting the camera as if she knew he was watching. Alex froze. Owe me? He whispered. More to himself than to her. He had never been in a situation like this before. Sure, he had seen cable car accidents in old news feeds, but that was different. Those were simulations, stories. This was real. Clara was real. And she was dangling hundreds of meters above the ground. Without thinking, Alex sprinted down the hallway and grabbed his backpack. He didn't even tell his mother. She would panic. He only knew one thing. He had to help Clara. He reached the building's rooftop, which had a maintenance drone docked and ready. Alex had learned to operate it in school, mostly for fun. But today, that knowledge felt crucial. He activated the drone and watched as it hovered into the sky, its small propellers cutting through the morning air. From above, Alex could see the cable car more clearly. It swayed slightly in the wind, suspended by its thick steel cable. He could also see the faint glow of energy readings along the skyway pylons nearby. They weren't normal. Something was interfering with the city's network. He could feel it in his gut. Clara wasn't just stuck. She was part of something bigger. The drone moved closer to the cable car. Alex carefully operated the manipulator arms, trying to stabilize it. The car shifted slightly, and Clara's eyes widened. What are you doing up there? Ander, she shouted, her voice strong even in the wind. Helping, Alex yelled back, trying to stay calm. Hold on! I'm going to keep you steady, Clara chuckled, even though the car swayed again. Brave? He muttered under his breath. I'm terrified. The drone's arms gripped the cable car's bottom panel, holding it steady. Alex could see small sparks from the mechanism above her, where the cable met the car. It looked like a simple mechanical failure at first, but the energy readings told a different story. Someone or something was messing with the city's systems. Alex's mind raced. He didn't know if this was a hacker attack or a malfunction. But one thing was clear. The city was vulnerable, and Clara was in danger. He adjusted the drone's position, making it hover closer to the car's side. "Just hold tight," he yelled. Clara's smile didn't falter. "I think I like this view," she said, leaning slightly forward to peer out of the glass panel. "Thanks for coming to my rescue, kiddo." Alex rolled his eyes, though he couldn't help smiling despite the fear. "Don't call me that. Just stay still." For several tense minutes, Alex and Clara worked together, communicating through hand signals and voice. He guided the drone to attach a temporary support to the cable car, preventing it from swaying dangerously. Clara, in turn, examined the top mechanism with her engineer's eye, nodding as she noted the irregular energy patterns. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the cable car was stable. Clara exhaled deeply and gave Alex a thumbs up. "Well, that wasn't so bad," she said, climbing carefully to the door. "You're quite the problem solver, Alex. I might have underestimated you." Alex grinned, feeling a rush of relief and pride. "You're welcome," he said. "But seriously, what happened? This doesn't feel like a normal malfunction." Clara's expression turned thoughtful. "It's not. I think someone or something is interfering with the city's systems. Look at the pylons nearby. The energy readings are off. I've seen anomalies like this before, but never this concentrated." Alex's eyes widened. "An anomaly?" "Yes," Clara said, her tone serious now. "And I need to investigate it. But first, we need to get down safely. You helped me stabilize the car, which was brilliant. But this is only the beginning." The two of them descended in a rescue pod sent by the city authorities. Alex stayed alert, scanning the network readings on his smartwatch. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was bigger than a simple mechanical failure. Something, or someone, was testing humans. And for some reason, Clara and he had been caught in the middle. As the pod touched the rooftop, Clara turned to Alex and smiled again. "I guess I really do owe you now. But maybe, just maybe, this is the start of something even bigger. Are you ready?" Alex swallowed hard. He wasn't sure if he was ready. But looking at Clara's confident face, he felt a spark of determination. The city had challenges ahead, and he realized that humans, with their creativity and courage, might just be the key to facing them. For the first time in his life, Alex felt like he was part of something extraordinary, something that could change the way humans looked at the world, and maybe even the universe. And above him, the skyways of Novara stretched endlessly, full of possibility and danger, waiting for the next human to rise to the challenge. The city of Novara had always been a place of lights, metal, and constant movement. But for Alex, today, it felt different. The morning sun glinted off the towering skyscrapers. But his mind wasn't on the view. It was on Clara Venn, his mom's best friend and the brilliant engineer who had just been stuck on a cable car. Alex followed Clara through the city streets, which were already busy with people walking along sky bridges, riding personal hoverboards, and moving along automated walkways. Clara's steps were quick and purposeful. She didn't walk like someone who had just survived a dangerous mishap hundreds of meters above the ground. Instead, she moved like she had a mission, calm, calculated, and confident. Alex struggled to keep up. "Wait, where are we going?" he asked. Clara glanced back and smiled. "To find the source of the problem. I have a feeling this wasn't just a simple cable car failure." He frowned. "You mean someone caused it on purpose?" "Maybe," she replied, her eyes scanning the city's network pylons and energy nodes. And if that's true, then it's more serious than a stuck cable car. Someone or something is experimenting with our systems. Alex's stomach tightened. Experimenting? Like a hacker? Clara shook her head. Not a normal hacker. This is too precise, too controlled. Look at the energy fluctuations along these pylons. They're subtle, but deliberate. Someone, or something, is testing human responses. Alex paused, trying to understand. Testing humans? Like, we're part of an experiment? Clara's lips curved slightly. But there was no humor in her eyes. Possibly. And if we don't figure it out, more people could be at risk. That's why I need your help. Clara. Alex blinked. My help? I'd just stabilized a cable car. That's it. Clara placed a hand on his shoulder. You acted fast. You thought clearly. And you used the drone creatively. That's exactly the kind of thinking we need. Humans have an edge that machines don't: intuition, creativity, and courage. And right now, that edge matters. Alex felt a mix of pride and fear. He had never imagined he would be part of something this serious. He had spent most of his life following instructions, doing schoolwork, and learning about technology, in theory. Now, he was about to put all of it into action in a real-life situation high above the city, under real danger. Clara led him to a small maintenance lab on the outskirts of Zenith Tower. The lab was filled with holographic screens, floating monitors, and equipment that glowed faintly with energy readings. Clara gestured to a large hologram of the city, showing the network of cable cars, energy pylons, and power nodes. See these? She asked, pointing to the nodes pulsing in subtle patterns. These fluctuations aren't normal. I've traced them to several locations across the city. Someone, or something, is probing our infrastructure, learning how we respond. Alex leaned closer. Learning how we respond. Why? Maybe to understand if humans are smart enough to defend themselves, Clara said. Or maybe to see how we solve problems under pressure. Whatever it is, it's testing us. Alex's mind raced. So, the cable car thing? It was just the first test? Clara nodded. Exactly. And we need to find the source before the next test becomes something dangerous. She handed him a small tablet that displayed live energy readings. I want you to help me track the interference patterns. You have a quick mind and an eye for details. Humans notice things. Machines can't. That's why we're better at this. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. He had always admired Clara's intelligence and bravery. And now, she was trusting him with something important. He nodded, gripping the tablet. Okay, let's do it. For hours, they worked side by side. Clara analyzed the energy data, identifying subtle patterns, while Alex traced the movements of drones and cable cars affected by the interference. The more they looked, the more it became clear that this was no ordinary problem. The interference moved in almost random ways, but there was a rhythm to it, a logic that only someone or something observing humans could understand. Look at this, Alex said, pointing to a cluster of nodes flickering in sequence. It's testing different areas, seeing how people react. Clara's eyes narrowed. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. It's learning from us. But it can't anticipate human intuition, our ability to improvise. That's our advantage. Alex thought about the cable car. He remembered the way he had adjusted the drone, thinking quickly under pressure, without following any manual or protocol. That instinctive decision-making was what Clara meant. Humans could adapt in ways machines or algorithms could not. Suddenly, an alert flashed on Clara's tablet. Here, she said, pointing. Another node is showing unusual activity closer to the central hub. If we don't act fast, it could affect multiple cable cars at once. That's dangerous. 1. Alex's stomach tightened. We have to stop it? Yes, Clara said, her tone calm but urgent. But first, we need to understand it. The interference isn't random, it's controlled. That means someone or something is behind it. We need to figure out what it wants and how it operates. They followed the readings through the city streets, moving from one energy hub to another. People passed by, unaware of the invisible patterns and anomalies weaving through their daily lives. The city seemed normal on the surface, but beneath it, a silent test was taking place. At one hub, Clara crouched by a power node, scanning its surface with a small device. "See this?" she said. "The energy signature isn't human-made. It's too precise, too efficient. Whoever did this isn't from our usual networks. This could be extraterrestrial." Alex's eyes widened. Extraterrestrial? You mean aliens? Clara nodded slowly. Possibly. I've studied unusual energy patterns before, but nothing like this. If it is alien, they're not here to attack, they're observing, testing. And we're part of their experiment. Alex swallowed hard. So, the cable car incident? That was like the first experiment? Yes, Clara confirmed. And the pattern is expanding. If we don't figure out what they want, more people could be at risk. We have to act fast. Alex looked at the city around them. Hover cars zoomed past, skywalks were crowded with people, and drones zipped between buildings. No one noticed the invisible threat moving silently through their city. Clara placed a reassuring hand on Alex's shoulder. Don't worry. Humans have an edge. We can think in ways they can't. And with you helping me, we have a real chance to outsmart them. Alex felt a surge of determination. Fear was still there, but it was mixed with excitement. He had never felt this alive. This wasn't just about technology or school lessons anymore. This was real. This was high-stakes problem-solving. And humans were in the center of it. They reached the next hub. The energy readings pulsed faster, as if reacting to their presence. Clara frowned. It's learning from us already. We need to be careful. Every move we make is being observed. Alex nodded. Then we have to be smarter than it expects. Together, they devised a plan. Clara would use her engineering skills to create a temporary shield around the hub, protecting it from the interference. Alex would use the drones and his quick thinking to guide the energy flow safely away from sensitive areas. It was risky, but it was the only option. As they worked, Alex noticed something fascinating. The interference wasn't chaotic, it followed logic, but it was testing their limits. Every adjustment they made caused it to respond differently. It was like a game, and they were learning its rules in real time. Hours passed, and finally, they managed to stabilize the hub. The energy readings returned to normal, and the city resumed its usual rhythm. People moved along the skyways, unaware of the danger that had just passed. Clara turned to Alex, smiling. See? That's the human edge. Machines can calculate, but they can't adapt like we do. Your quick thinking saved this hub. Alex smiled, exhausted but proud. So, we can beat it? Clara nodded. Yes, but we have to stay ahead. Whoever or whatever is behind this, they're still observing. And I have a feeling the next test will be even harder. Alex looked out over the city's glowing skyline, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He realized that humans were not just participants, they were challengers, thinkers, and problem solvers. And in this game of observation and intelligence, they had an advantage that no machine or alien experiment could ever predict: their creativity. And as the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows across Novara, Alex knew that his life and the city's was about to change forever. After the day's chaos, Novara's skyline seemed peaceful again. But Alex knew better. Somewhere in the city, or perhaps beyond it, someone or something was watching. He glanced at Clara as they walked through the quiet streets toward her lab. She moved with purpose, her mind clearly still on the interference they had just neutralized. "You're quiet," Clara said, glancing at him. "Thinking about what just happened?" Alex nodded. "Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Aliens, experiments, and the cable car. I mean, who even thinks of something like that?" Clara chuckled softly. "Exactly. And that's why humans have the advantage. We think differently, creatively, unexpectedly. Machines or even advanced observers cannot predict our instincts. And that instinct, Alex, saved that cable car today." Alex felt a surge of pride. But then a nervous thought struck him. What if they come back? Clara's expression became serious. "Then we have to be ready. That's why I asked for your help. You have the quick thinking, the intuition, and the courage to react when things go wrong. Together, we might be able to figure out what's really going on." Alex swallowed hard, but he nodded. "Okay, I'm in." They reached Clara's lab, a high-tech space filled with floating holograms, screens, and devices Alex had only seen in science magazines. Clara moved to a large table where a 3D map of Novara glowed, showing energy nodes, power pylons, and skyways in detail. The recent interference points were highlighted in red, pulsating gently like warning lights. "Here," Clara said, pointing at one of the red clusters. "The pattern isn't finished. Whoever, or whatever, is behind this isn't done. We need to track it to its origin." Alex leaned closer. "How do we do that?" Clara smiled, the kind of smile that made Alex feel like they could take on the world. "By thinking like them. If they are observing us, we need to anticipate their next moves. And to do that, we need to test their logic. We need to experiment back carefully." Alex's eyes widened. "Experiment? Back? Oh. Alex's." "Yes," Clara said. "We'll create controlled scenarios. Small puzzles for them. Watch how the interference responds. And then, we'll trace it to its source. It's risky, but it's the fastest way to learn who or what is watching us." Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with nervousness. This wasn't schoolwork anymore. This was real-life strategy. Real-life problem-solving. And the stakes were higher than anything he had ever faced. Clara handed him a small device that looked like a tablet with a glowing blue interface. "This will track energy fluctuations. Think of it as a map of their movements. You'll guide me on where to test, where to push, and how to respond." Alex studied the device carefully. "Okay, so we create a situation, watch their response, and follow the trail?" "Exactly," Clara said. "Humans have one thing no observer can predict: creativity. That's our edge. And right now, we need that edge to find them before they test more people. Or worse." They started with a small energy hub in a quiet part of the city. Clara adjusted the hub's system, creating a tiny fluctuation designed to attract the interference. Alex monitored the tablet, tracking the energy's response across the city network. Almost immediately, the interference reacted. It shifted, moving along the power grid toward another cluster of nodes. Alex's eyes widened. "It's following the pattern. It wants to see how we respond." Clara nodded. "Good. That's exactly what I wanted. Now we follow it carefully." They moved through the city, using drones and rooftop paths to stay ahead of the interference. Each step they took was a game of anticipation. The interference changed its path depending on their actions, like it was learning in real time. But Alex noticed something fascinating. It could adapt, but it couldn't predict human intuition. Every time they made a creative adjustment, the interference hesitated, giving them a small advantage. Hours passed as they tracked the pattern. The city beneath them was a maze of light, metal, and energy flows, but Alex felt alive in a way he had never experienced. Every decision mattered. Every instinct counted. And Clara, calm and brilliant, guided him through it with patience and expertise. Finally, they reached an abandoned observation tower at the edge of Novara. Its metal frame was old, but inside, Clara found an unusual device, glowing faintly. The energy readings matched the interference perfectly. "This is it," she said, examining the device. "This is the source, or at least a central node. Whoever or whatever is behind the interference is connected to this." Alex's heart pounded. "So, this is alien technology?" Clara nodded slowly. "It's not built like anything humans make. The precision, the energy flow, it's definitely advanced and intelligent. But notice this. Look at the design. It's observing, learning. But it doesn't anticipate human creativity. That's our advantage." Alex frowned, looking at the glowing device. "So we... what? Disable it?" Clara shook her head. "Not yet. First, we need to understand it. If we act too quickly, it might shut down or hide. We have to gather information. See how it reacts, what it tests, and why." Alex nodded, gripping the tablet. He had never felt so focused in his life. Every small reading, every pulse of energy, was a clue. Every decision could reveal more about the observer, and every instinct could save someone from danger. As they monitored the device, something strange happened. The interference began to interact with their drones. Small lights blinked in patterns, almost like a language. Clara's eyes widened. "It's communicating. Or at least trying to understand us. See the sequence? It's responding to our actions. It's curious. Our one of her. Alex felt a thrill. "Curious? So it's learning from us?" Clara nodded. "Exactly. And that's why we have an advantage. Humans are unpredictable. We can improvise, create, and adapt in ways no observer, machine, or algorithm can fully anticipate. That's our strength. That's why we're still in control." Way. 3. I-way. They spent hours observing, testing, and tracking. Every time they made a creative adjustment, the device responded differently. Alex realized that this was not just a challenge, it was a lesson in human ingenuity. And every time they succeeded, it became clearer that humans were still unmatched in the ability to think, adapt, and act under pressure. Finally, the device emitted a faint signal, pointing toward the city's central energy hub. Clara's eyes narrowed. "It wants us to follow it. This might be the main source. If we go there, we'll learn who or what is really behind this." Alex's stomach tightened. "So, the next test could be even harder?" Clara smiled. "Yes, but that's why we're teaming up. Together, we're stronger. Your intuition, my engineering skills, we complement each other. Humans work best when we cooperate, especially against challenges that try to test us." Alex nodded. For the first time, he truly understood what Clara meant about the human edge. It wasn't strength, or speed, or machines. It was thinking, creativity, and courage. And if they worked together, nothing could outsmart them. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the city, Alex and Clara prepared to follow the trail. The glowing signals from the device led them through dark alleys, across empty rooftops, and finally, to the central energy hub at the heart of Novara. The hub was massive, its metallic towers reaching into the sky like fingers. Energy flowed through it like liquid light, and the interference patterns pulsed in rhythm with the city's heartbeat. Alex felt a mixture of fear and excitement. This was it, the confrontation, the next step, and the real test of human ingenuity. Clara turned to him, her eyes steady. Alex took a deep breath. Ready. Together, they stepped into the hub, knowing that whatever awaited them, humans had something no observer could ever match: their creativity, their courage, and their ability to adapt. And as the city lights shimmered below, Alex realized that this partnership between intuition and experience could change everything. The game was far from over. But for the first time, Alex felt that humans weren't just participants. They were challengers, problem solvers, and the ultimate, unpredictable force. And somewhere in the glowing hum of the hub, the observer waited, curious, ready to see just how clever humans could be. The central energy hub of Novara loomed before Alex and Clara like a cathedral of light and metal. Its towers stretched high into the clouds, crisscrossed by glowing conduits of power that pulsed like veins. The hum of energy was so strong it resonated in their chests, reminding them how alive the city was. Alex swallowed hard, gripping the tablet in his hands. This place, it's huge. How are we supposed to find the source? Clara's eyes scanned the hub. We don't know yet, but we can follow the energy patterns. They'll lead us to the central node, or at least to the most active part of the interference. She paused. Remember, this isn't just a test of strength or speed. This is a test of creativity, problem-solving, and instinct. That's why humans have the edge. No machine or alien observer can predict us when we act intuitively. Alex nodded, though his heart still pounded. Every part of him wanted to run back to the safety of the city streets below. But he couldn't. Clara had shown him that fear could be controlled, channeled into focus. And right now, they needed focus. They stepped onto a catwalk that extended into the heart of the hub. Beneath them, energy flowed like a river of light, casting patterns on the metal walls. Drones hovered around, some damaged from the previous interference tests. Each step echoed ominously, and every vibration in the structure made Alex's stomach twist. Stay close, Clara said. We don't know how the interference will react. Every movement, every adjustment, could trigger a response. They moved slowly, analyzing each node and conduit they passed. The interference had left traces, subtle pulses of energy that flickered unpredictably. Alex followed these with the tablet, his mind racing to interpret the patterns. Clara's engineering expertise guided their path, as she pointed out anomalies that Alex would have missed. Hours seemed to pass as they worked. Every time they made a small adjustment, rerouting energy, stabilizing a conduit, the interference responded. Lights pulsed faster, drones repositioned, and tiny holographic signals appeared in response to their actions. See that? Clara said, pointing to a flickering holographic pattern. It's communicating, or at least observing our problem-solving. Every time we improvise, it adapts. But notice this, it can't predict creativity. Alex's eyes lit up. So, we just have to stay unpredictable? Clara smiled. Exactly. Humans are unpredictable by nature. That's why we've survived so long and thrived. Logic alone doesn't always win. Intuition, creativity, and courage, those are our strengths. And right now, they're what we need to use. They reached a massive chamber at the hub's center. It was empty, except for a single device suspended in midair, connected to the city's power grid by thick, glowing conduits. The interference radiated from it, pulsing in complex sequences that were almost hypnotic. This is it, Clara said, her voice calm but serious. The central node. Whoever, or whatever, is behind the interference is using this as a hub to test the city. Alex stared at the device, feeling both awe and fear. It looks alive, he said. Clara nodded. It reacts to everything we do. But remember, Alex, it doesn't anticipate human intuition. That's our edge. We have to outthink it, not just overpower it. Alex took a deep breath, thinking back to the cable car incident and the way he had acted without a manual, using instinct and creativity. That same instinct had saved the energy hub earlier. This time, he would need to do it on a larger scale. Clara activated a small holographic interface on her wrist. We'll create controlled disturbances in the energy flow, tiny experiments. Watch how the node responds, and we adjust. Think of it like a chess game, but faster, and the pieces are alive. Alex nodded. Got it. We experiment, we observe, we adapt. The two of them began. Clara engineered precise energy pulses, rerouting power through alternative conduits. Alex used the drones to adjust flow in real time, improvising when the node reacted unpredictably. Each movement was a conversation between human ingenuity and alien observation. Hours passed, and the tension grew. The node pulsed faster, almost as if it were frustrated by their unpredictable responses. Holographic signals flickered more intensely. Alex noticed something remarkable: the node could learn, adapt, and react. But it couldn't anticipate when they combined intuition with creativity. Alex, Clara shouted over the hum of energy. Now, disrupt this conduit slightly while I adjust the upper node. Alex acted instinctively, altering the drone's path and redirecting the energy flow. The node pulsed wildly, then stabilized. Clara adjusted her interface, stabilizing another section. Together, their improvisation and coordination caused the node to pause, almost like it was reconsidering its calculations. See? Clara said, her voice full of excitement. That's what I mean. Humans are unpredictable, adaptable, and intuitive. That's why we survive and thrive. That's why we always have the edge. Alex felt a surge of confidence. The fear that had gripped him earlier was gone, replaced by focus and determination. He realized that this was what being human truly meant: thinking, adapting, and taking action when the odds seemed impossible. Suddenly, the node emitted a bright pulse of energy that filled the chamber with light. The holographic signals shifted, forming patterns that were almost readable. Clara studied them carefully. It's responding differently now, she said. It's learning from us, but it's also showing us something. Look at the sequence. It's pointing to another location, further up the city. This might be its origin, or another testing hub. Alex's heart raced. So, we follow it? Clara nodded. Yes. This is the moment where we take the next step. But remember, the interference isn't malicious, it's observing, testing, learning. That's why we have an advantage. We can outthink it, because our creativity can't be predicted. They prepared to move. Clara connected the drones to the node's interface, creating a feedback loop that stabilized their path through the energy hub. Alex monitored the tablet, adjusting in real time, guiding the flow of energy as if they were steering a river. As they navigated through the hub, Alex realized something profound. The node, the interference, and the tests weren't just challenges. They were opportunities to prove what humans could do. Machines, algorithms, and even advanced observers could not match the combination of intuition, courage, and creativity. That was humanity's edge. Finally, they reached a secondary node near the top of the hub. The energy readings were stronger here, almost overwhelming. Alex could feel the hum of power vibrating through his bones. Clara examined the node carefully. This is advanced, she said. Not destructive, just precise. Whoever built this is observing our problem solving. And every step we take teaches them something. But it also teaches us about ourselves. Alex nodded. So, every challenge is like a lesson for both of us? Clara smiled. Exactly. That's why humans are special. We can learn, adapt, and improve faster than any observer expects. And that, Alex, is why we have the edge. Together, they carefully studied the node, mapping its energy flows and predicting its reactions. Using a combination of human intuition and creative improvisation, they created a pattern that temporarily disabled the interference. The lights of the hub dimmed slightly, then stabilized. Alex looked at Clara, exhilarated. We did it. Clara nodded, but her eyes were still sharp. Yes, but this is just the beginning. We've shown the node that humans can adapt, but we need to find the source, the origin of these tests. That's where the real answers lie. Alex felt a thrill of excitement and anticipation. Fear had been replaced by confidence. He realized that humans were not just participants. They were problem solvers, thinkers, and challengers. And in this game of observation and intelligence, they had proven that creativity and courage could outmatch even the most advanced technology. As they prepared to follow the node's signals to the next location, Alex glanced out over Novara. The city sparkled like a jewel in the night, full of life and possibility. And somewhere, beyond the lights, the observer waited curious, learning, and about to discover just how clever humans could be. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the power of human ingenuity. This was their moment, and together, he and Clara would prove that humans were not just participants in a test, they were the unpredictable, unstoppable force at the heart of the universe. The night sky over Novara was alive with lights, glowing conduits, and moving drones. From the rooftop of a central tower, Alex and Clara looked down at the city they had saved from chaos. But the pulse of energy from the final node still lingered, calling them forward, guiding them toward the ultimate source. This is it, Clara said, her voice calm but filled with anticipation. The source of the interference. If we can reach it, we can finally understand what's behind these tests and stop them for good. Alex swallowed hard. And what if it's dangerous? What if this one is different? Clara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Then we deal with it. The human way. Remember, Alex, our creativity, our courage, and our quick thinking are our greatest strengths. That's why we've succeeded so far. And that's why we'll succeed again. They descended through the city using a combination of drones and maintenance lifts, following the energy pulses that led to an abandoned sector of Novara. This part of the city had once been a bustling hub of commerce and technology, but years of neglect had left it quiet, dim, and full of shadows. The streets were empty, save for the hum of hidden energy nodes and flickering lights. At the center of the sector, they found a massive, circular chamber buried beneath layers of metal and glass. The air was thick with energy, almost vibrating against their bodies. In the center of the chamber floated a device larger and more complex than any they had seen before. It glowed with a soft, pulsing light that seemed alive, almost as if it were breathing. Alex's eyes widened. Clara nodded. It's not just technology, it's intelligence. And it's been observing us this whole time. But here's the important part. It can't anticipate human intuition. It can calculate, adapt, even learn, but it can't predict creativity, courage, or instinct. Alex took a deep breath. So, how do we stop it? Clara studied the device carefully. We don't stop it. Not yet. We communicate with it in the only way it understands, through action and problem solving. We show it that humans are clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. We prove that we can outthink it. Alex nodded, feeling a surge of determination. Okay, let's do it. They approached the device cautiously. Clara deployed a series of drones to interact with its outer nodes, sending controlled energy pulses in different patterns. Alex followed with the tablet, monitoring every reaction, every flicker, every pulse. The device responded immediately, adjusting its output, testing them in return. "It's curious," Clara whispered. "It's testing how we solve problems, just like before, but this time, it's more advanced, faster, smarter. But still, it can't predict human creativity." Alex watched the glowing patterns dance across the device, noticing a rhythm in its pulses. "It's like a puzzle," he said. "If we solve it, we can show it what humans can do." Clara nodded. "Exactly. Humans don't just calculate. We improvise. We create. And that's why we're still in control." For hours, they worked together, improvising solutions, rerouting energy flows, and predicting the device's reactions. Each time the device tried to adapt to their moves, they introduced a new variation, something unexpected, something no algorithm could predict. Alex felt his heart pounding, but he also felt alive. Every decision, every adjustment, was a challenge, and they were meeting it head-on. At one point, the device pulsed violently, sending a wave of energy that knocked drones off course and made the chamber shake. Alex stumbled, but Clara grabbed his arm. "Focus, Alex. Remember, humans are unpredictable. We act with creativity, not logic alone." Alex adjusted the drones instinctively, redirecting energy flows and stabilizing the system. Clara simultaneously reprogrammed the outer nodes, creating a pattern that the device couldn't immediately analyze. The glow of the device flickered, then steadied. "It's paused," Clara said, her eyes widening in awe. "It's learning from us, but it's also recognizing our approach. It's seeing human intuition in action." Alex grinned. "So, we're teaching it?" Clara nodded. "Yes. And by doing so, we prove that humans are more than calculations, more than predictable patterns. We are creativity, courage, and intelligence combined. That's why we survive. That's why we adapt. That's why we have the edge. Thanks. With youthful." As they continued, the device emitted a series of pulses that formed a holographic pattern above it. At first, the pattern seemed random, but Clara studied it carefully. "It's communicating," she said softly. "It's trying to understand us. It's acknowledging our ingenuity." 2001. 2000. Alex felt a thrill run through him. "So it respects us?" Clara smiled. "Not respect exactly, but recognition. It knows that humans can think in ways no algorithm can predict. That's what makes us special. And that's why we're still in control." Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the device's pulses slowed and stabilized. The holographic patterns settled into a steady glow. Clara turned to Alex, her eyes bright. "We did it. We've shown it the human edge: creativity, intuition, courage. We've proven that humans can outthink even the most advanced observer." Alex let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "So, it's over?" Clara nodded. "For now. The interference has stopped. The city is safe, and the tests are complete. But the important part is what we've learned. Humans are unpredictable, resourceful, and unstoppable when we use our minds and instincts together. That's the message we've sent." As they prepared to leave the chamber, Alex turned to Clara. "You said earlier, you owed me. I think I finally understand. We both helped each other, didn't we?" Clara laughed softly. "Yes, you did. And I do owe you, Alex. You acted without hesitation, trusted your instincts, and showed incredible creativity. You've earned my respect and my mentorship." Alex smiled. "Mentorship? You mean you'll teach me more about this stuff?" Clara nodded. Exactly. You have talent, intuition, and courage. Together, we can continue to protect the city, solve problems, and maybe even explore what lies beyond. Humanity has an edge, Alex, and I want to help you develop it. Alex felt a rush of excitement. For the first time in his life, he realized that his skills, instincts, and courage mattered not just in school or at home, but in the real world. And with Clara's guidance, he could do even more. As they stepped out of the chamber, the city stretched below them, alive with light and energy. Novara had been tested, and humanity had proven itself. But Alex understood that this was only the beginning. The world, and perhaps the universe, was full of challenges that would require courage, creativity, and intelligence. And he was ready. Clara turned to him, smiling warmly. I guess I really do owe you now. But more than that, we've shown that humans are capable of extraordinary things when we work together. Remember this, Alex. Our intuition, courage, and creativity are more powerful than any machine or observer could ever predict. Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride and purpose. I won't forget. And I'll keep using it. The city's lights shimmered like a sea of stars below. And the two of them looked out over Novara, knowing that humans had survived a test that could have been impossible. They had relied on their creativity, their courage, and their ability to think in ways no observer could anticipate. And in doing so, they had proven the greatest truth of all. Humanity's edge was unstoppable, unpredictable, and brilliant. For the first time, Alex felt truly confident in his place in the world. He wasn't just a teenager in a city of skyscrapers and drones. He was a human, unpredictable, resourceful, and ready to face any challenge that came next. And somewhere, perhaps far beyond the city, the observer pulsed quietly, having learned its most important lesson yet. No matter how advanced technology becomes, humans will always have something. Machines cannot replicate the spark of creativity, courage, and ingenuity that defines them. Alex smiled at Clara. So, what's next? Clara chuckled softly. Next, we make sure the city stays safe. And after that, who knows? There's a whole universe out there, full of challenges waiting for humans to prove themselves. Alex felt a thrill of excitement. He had faced danger, learned from it, and discovered something incredible about himself. And now, with Clara by his side, he was ready to face anything. As they looked out over Novara, the city alive and thriving beneath them, Alex knew one thing for certain. Humanity would never stop learning, adapting, and overcoming. And with their edge creativity, courage, and intuition, they could face any challenge, no matter how advanced or intelligent the opposition. And in that moment, Alex realized that humans were not just part of the world. They were its greatest force, capable of brilliance, resilience, and the extraordinary. The night sky above Novara stretched endlessly, full of possibility. And for the first time, Alex felt that nothing, not machines, not observers, not even the unknown, could ever outsmart the power of humanity.